Hey, you guys, one thing I want to shout out coming up very quickly on November 28th, Matthew Leone from Charity Bomb is presenting Rock the Pot 2, a virtual Rockstar poker tournament, November 28th, 2021 at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern time. You could join in for over $15,000 in cash and prizes for a $100 donation. You can join. You can find more information at CharityBomb.org. You can even contact Matthew directly at matthew@CharityBomb.org. There's some great people playing. I'm going to actually play this time, which means I'm going to lose that $100 in about 2 seconds and be out. But Scott Ian from Anthrax, Aaron and John from Billy Talent, Jeremy from Lit, Jesse Hughes, Carmen Bones from Bones UK, some industry friends of mine, Larry Tell, Mark Pollack, Johnny Minardi, Buck Foley will be joining, and more people join every day. I heard the first one was fantastic, and they're raising money for this event, Tony, for solutions to help mental health in youth.
But it sounds like fun. It's a virtual poker game, right?
Yeah, it's virtual.
Yeah, I want to do that. Oh, hey, shout out to our new sponsor, Weird Tea. It's great. I love it.
And we also want to shout out to Pocus Hottest, who has a little clip from their mascots, Bonnie and Cassie.
Hey, Cassie, what you up to?
I finally got my hands on the new Vetica album. This thing jams.
Awesome! Hey, remember Warped Tour 99 when we totally crowd surfed up to the stage and high-fived Fletcher during the Pennywise show?
Oh yeah, how could I forget that? It took me 4 months to get my stem to stand up and salute after that one. Never again. I am not the spry chili that I once was.
Oh, come on, Cassie. Looks like they're heading out or they're never gonna die tour next month. Time to get that stem in shape. Surf's up.
Oh, brother.
Vetica hot sauce. Be hypnotized by the hottest of Pocus hot sauces at pocushottest.com.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right, Tony. How are you? What have you been doing here all
doing
day?
good. You know what? I want to ask you.
You've been in my backyard all day.
I haven't been in your backyard all day. I want to ask you a question. Is this true? I'm looking at my news feed right now, and you're all over it. What's up with being in the top of the news with variety?
In the industry right now, there's a lot of questions about what happened this past week. And, I'm like, I think unfortunately, like I said in this interview, there's so many great festivals, and there's 95% of the shows go off without a problem out there.
So obviously what we're talking about, I didn't really, the variety article is about the Travis Scott incident.
But I'm like trying to say that, there's certain things that could be done, but not condemning that show because I wasn't there, but the things that they're going to look at going forward. But all of a sudden you see these knee-jerk reactions of everything. Like I saw the Abbott of Texas today declaring that he's creating a concert safety committee.
Jesus.
Shouldn't the guy focus on like women's rights
and concert safety committee being established by the state of Texas,
by the governor of Texas, Tony? I'm like,
I'm really imagine that people in the last week have come out of the woodwork trying to consult with you. Is that true? I mean, this is your bread and butter.
I've turned down a lot of things. I don't want. But I do believe that it's important. It's not like you hear the knee jerk. We need to end general admission shows. I've heard a lot of that going on this week. And I know that, to be honest, the type of music that Travis Scott plays with a crowd that becomes aggressive, seats cause more problems. No one's going to stay in their seats.
Right.
We need to analyze that particular show, and there's going to be a lot of questions asked. But there's 95% of the festivals. There was one over here at the Rose Bowl. There was actually a festival this past weekend called Punk in the Park. Shouldn't that scare everyone?
Right.
Went off without a hitch.
Well, I think it has a lot to do with proper planning and preparation. And I think the lawsuits are going to go on for years on this one, and it's going to be a mess.
Well, I relate it to the audience. I mean, you have an aggressive audience that definitely, let's rage. Yeah, I love rage. But then you have pop culture crossover. He's a pop culture icon. So there was a lot of kids who learned about him through Fortnite, who learned about through maybe McDonald's, who learned through his relationship with one of the Jenner people. They want to be there But, when you hear these people at the show, hear the age, 14 years old, 12 years old, 16. Think about it. It's been 2 years since we've really had these festivals. See, these kids, might have been
They're
their
ready
first
to
show.
get out, yeah.
This might have been their first show. So, not to dwell on that, too much. It will sort itself out. It's interesting. I teach branding. How does this affect his brand? Because I use him as an example of the young branding mogul. I talk about Jimmy Buffett. I could talk about other artists, that do really well with their brand.
Of course.
But the youngest branding guru in the world, I guess, in American pop culture is Travis Scott in the music space.
Well, obviously that's probably going to be changing. I mean, I don't know what the ramifications are. I can't imagine they're going to be good. But moving forward with today's episode, I think it's interesting to talk about a lot of new technologies as it relates to branding and what he was capable of doing, obviously, with McDonald's and what a lot of other major bands are doing. But at a smaller level, what smaller bands are trying to do to generate revenue, to perpetuate their careers too, is a lot about what today's episode's about.
Sometimes it takes more than just playing music.
Of course.
You're kind of doing other things that lead to other things. So I think we're going to talk about that today. I've been, taking some different interviews and everything, and we're kind of pulling them together because we have a big day tomorrow around here.
Yeah, we do.
What are we doing, Tony? You've been working on something.
I've been telling you guys about this. We're shooting a television show. We're bringing back the barbecue. It's going to be very cool. We're going to have a band back here. We're going to interview some rock stars. We're going to play cornhole.
We're going to be cooking.
Yeah.
We're going to be, it's going to be a good time.
It's going to be great.
But, this episode, so I've been talking to different people and gathering up some interviews. So we're going to be talking to Moises and Josh Cruz, who are in this great band. We're going to talk to an old friend, Dave, from Big D and the Kids Table. It's always great to catch up with him and all the different things he's done. Another band without a huge hit and dear to my heart because he's also an educator out there. He's a teacher. We got Carl Robot, who, was out on road, played on the Shearer Girl stage and talking about how they made some extra money on the road. And then I was really excited when I caught up with Jenny Kotcher, who lives in Bad Cop, a band that's been playing now and doing some great shows. But she's been in multiple bands that were out on Warped Tour. You got Moises and Josh, and I'm like, are you guys barbecuers? And they're like, of course we're barbecuers. And I think they ran home and read up about
how to barbecue
and stuff.
Bada Weber.
And they became our barbecue band. And I was like, man, when I first met them, they told me they were from Highland Park. And though Highland Park is super hip and super cool now.
Now it is. It wasn't back in the day,
15 years ago. And I said, wow, you grew up in the Avenues. And they were like, a white guy knows the Avenues, and told them the whole history of the Mexican mafia and everything being formed out of the Avenues. And I said, wow, it must have been rough being two punks from the Avenues,
Right.
And they said, well, we played punk music to get away from the Avenues.
In 2004 was my first Warped Tour experience, and I heard that there was, a barbecue band, things like that, and we saw bands selling CDs outside, and we were still fairly young in our music life, and 2008, we went to the Warped Tour in Phoenix, tried doing the baby band selling thing. Not very much. By 2009, we decided we started to tour heavily, got on as a baby band, played our own shows, did our own thing. 2010 was like, we're going to just show up, find a way to get into the place, the first date, which was a Home Depot, which is now it was a Home Depot center. And I went in there, me and Ricky James, our drummer, who also has children now, and spoke to Damone, was just like, gave us kind of a, you're not the first ones, but you're also not that late. So go find Bethany. She might need some help. Then she said, go talk to Shelly. I think we posted flyers for a second. She goes, go talk to Shelly. We did. We ended up being volunteers for the kitchen. Just found our way in, met you here and there. I know you were busy running around. And then when we went to Nashville, I believe we were the only baby band who volunteered to do the Eco Day in Nashville. And you finally asked us where we were from. We told you Highland Park, and you knew the area very well, which I didn't know Fort Finney was off of in Pasadena. I didn't know.
Fair Oaks, yeah.
Fair Oaks, yeah.
Yeah,
And-
we grew up on Montecito Heights on the Avenue 43rd and Homer Street, and you made the comment, we're like, oh, okay, I know where you guys are from. And you're like, and your first comment was like, well, I got to get you guys out of there, so come talk to me later. and we thought that was hilarious. And that's kind of how we made the introduction. You just like, hey, you know what? I got to get you guys out of there.
They wanted to be on the tour, and they found a way to get on the tour. I'm curious. They were a baby band, but how did they become a barbecue band? And what is the consensus of becoming a barbecue band? Is there a prerequisite that you actually have to be able to barbecue, or are you actually playing in the band while somebody else is barbecuing and then you clean up?
Usually you end up cleaning. You end up barbecuing yourself because you
have to do the cleanup.
Well, you travel in the van, so you don't want all these extra people. So you have to be able to multitask.
I mean, we did a lot. We were volunteering in the kitchen, and we were trying to sell CDs. And we were doing all 3 shifts in the morning, noon, and night for Tada Catering. And we were selling merch, which you allowed us to do. Yeah, and it was a lot of work, but we had the drive. We were in Salt Lake City. We developed quite the relationship with Mom, Shelly, and so she. I just said it to her. We always function as a type of band, and it's like if you don't ask, nothing is gonna happen. So we always asked. So we told Shelly, we want to be the barbecue band next year, and she said, "Good, go tell Kevin right now. I'll go with you." Just like that. And me and my brother walked into the barn in Utah, the fairgrounds. We said to you, and so Shelly said, "Kevin, the boys want to ask you something." And we said, "Kevin, you want to be the barbecue band?" And you said, "That sounds like a good idea. All right, you're in." Just like that.
Yeah, my interviewing tactics weren't ever some of the best.
Did they know what they were in for, or did you know what you were in for?
I knew what they were in for, but by then they'd proven. They'd been out there hustling and working. I knew they could handle it. It expanded, like, you're the barbecue band. But all of a sudden, I think they really realized that you could make some money if you were actually running the bar.
Oh.
Doing that kind of thing, plus playing music, sometimes you don't understand it. When you're young and you look at the barbecue band, it's just the coolest thing because you're like, wow, you're almost in charge of the after party. It just feels that way. I know we were doing Ricky James was doing a bar, and the Tiki bar was there. And it wasn't always the smoothest thing. I think the first year, one of the bands was not very happy that we had our own bar. But, these are the types of things that happen. But we were like, hey, we're a little band. Like, why can't we have a bar? You guys are a bigger band. I'd rather not name names. But we worked it out. It was fine. And then the next year, Bayside did the Tiki bar, and we were great friends with them, still are. And we kind of helped each other. And
I was always starting with beer, wine, some things. But then it would literally pop-up bar, bar backs and selling shots and drinks.
And the next thing you know, there's Everclear.
I believe that you let things run out to a certain point, but then we had to retrain it because then it became like competing bars.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. It was competing bars. You had bar here, bar there. And then guys wanted to do a charity bar. Like, we're going to sell drinks for charity this night. Fran was always like, who's the fucking charity? It's like, it was like we did have to clamp down on the bars backstage.
So how did you solve that? Did you only have the Kevin Lyman
I just
bar?
Said no bars. No, I didn't take a cut off the bar. Another point I probably should have made some money on.
I know, right?
But if I ran my own bar, I would have been fine. But it was great to catch up with Moises and Josh.
They got kids now, right?
Yeah, they got family. They got kids. They're working. They run a marketing company.
Are they still playing? Or
they play some music here and there.
You know what? Being in a band kind of always taught us or gave us that thing that most musicians never lose, which is that hustle mentality. And also the most of us don't want to have a 9 to 5. So we kind of started venturing off in kind of marketing and things like that. And then we're, doing a lot of work like that. But we've never stopped playing music. I know we didn't remain as active as we wanted to by the end of that last Warped Tour we performed in 2012. But just we're able to, sustain ourselves. We work for a couple of businesses. We help them with just some marketing things we play music. We record it. We're still recording. We're still doing our thing.
Just playing at the, kindergarten talent shows still count? Once in a
Hey,
while?
take it easy.
No, I think that's always where all my friends' bands, I go, eventually you have to realize you're going to be playing at your kid's talent show. In a total, Tony, you have been there.
I have been there.
Yeah, come on,
Are you
please.
kidding? I'm so proud of those talent show days.
It's like the dad's band. It's like at my daughter's school, it was like the dad's band.
Yeah.
And I'd like, oh, what did you do? Well, I used to be during the touring guitar player for this
I
artist.
just recommend for all those dad bands out there, just make sure you record it, mix it, master it, make it great. Don't shoot any videos. Nobody wants to see that shit. Nobody wants to.
Yeah, you are the,
I know I'm the video.
yeah, you're the video guy. I don't know.
You see your gut in the video.
Do as I say, don't do as I do.
Yeah, right.
All right. So moving on to like a new dad. Actually, we're going to be moving right into another new dad, Dave McWane. Dave McWane's been a big D in the kids' table, kind of a self-made band that was always welcome on my tour because they were just great to hang out with Dave. Big D in the kids' table has a new record coming out on Side One Dummy.
Oh,
They're
cool.
still producing music. He's a new dad.
Right on.
And, they were a self-sustaining band, so they always had to figure out how to make money.
What's really interesting about Big D than any other band I've ever come across is that we put like all the money into the band. You know what I mean? It's like, it's always the Big D savings account is always so we can live the life we hope to live. You know what I mean? We pay each other to play shows. You know, you get guaranteed from the show, and you pay people. We pay ourselves to go to shows. But all the other royalties come in. We just put into a nest egg to save, to put out a record, to pay for a record, to pay for van costs, to pay for plane tickets, and we just kind of look at it as our fight for our lives. You know, our fight to live the life we want to live. Do you know what I mean? So Big D's good little savers.
I mean, they're making revenue off the music too. Are they doing any
you're
licensing?
you're making trips and drabs. They have a lot of content, but it just adds up slowly now.
Right.
It's good that they're in a ska band, so they fall in a lot of ska playlists. There's a lot of those
Sure.
out there. That sometimes that natural niche band, you find yourself in a lot of playlists and things. But
Didn't they have a song though that caught on?
what happened here, and I had to ask him, they're from Boston,
Right.
all right, and there's like a band called the Dropkick Murphys.
Right.
And Ken Casey from the Dropkick Murphys, is the mob boss of Boston. Okay, he's the mob boss of theme song. If a team has a theme song,
Right.
it's done by the Dropkick Murphys.
Right.
So I was very surprised when Dave told me this.
The New England Revolution asked me, the soccer team, the football team, asked me to write an anthem for them. And it was one of those funny stories where I wrote like 2 songs because I know everybody likes choices. But then I wrote this kind of like Game of Thrones war cry, just like people out like in the forest approaching your castle kind of intimidation war cry. And they chose that one. And it's called One New England.
I go, did you drive up and kiss the ring?
Yeah. Did he get permission there?
Permission
Or
to,
did you
to
beg-
write a theme song
did you
for another team on that city?
Beg forgiveness.
I know, because ultimately I think that Ken Casey will be the mayor of Boston. So if later on you see this edict that we must change the song,
Oh no.
you know that the Dropkick Murphys will be putting out a theme song for another team in Boston. But till then, I'm glad that Big T got a chance to do this. It was also the theme song of the Warped Tour for a long time. They had a song called Lil Bitch by the Specials
Right.
that they kind of created a video, a drinking game too.
Was this for the barbecue?
Oh, it was backstage, and we would film these videos. And it was like you had to drink beers. Like everyone jumps in and pounds beers as fast as they could. And then you're like making all these things. And everyone gets caught up in it. I got caught up in it a few times, okay? I mean, and then you try to drink a pitcher of beer, and then the next pitcher gets dumped on someone's head, and then everyone's dancing in and out of the
And
scene.
your insurance broker was fine with this, I'm sure.
You're the only one that runs everything by an insurance broker, Tony, because I'm finding out.
It's true.
Hi, Peter. It's 8:00 tonight, and we're all hanging out, and we're going to do the drinking song. Can you please send us waiver forms for everyone to sign before this
Can we
game?
get a liability? Name us additional insured.
It got to be like super fun. Everyone participated. There's
That's awesome.
probably, he did them all over the place. And it was kind of the Big D calling card to do one. And everyone would be like, are you going to do it, Dave? Are you going to do it tonight? Are you going to do it tonight? And he wouldn't bring it out every night. But, are you doing the drinking song, Dave? And it was like literally everyone's lined up to be in the drinking song. And you'll have to watch one of these. They're a great, solid band, too. So, it was great to talk to him about that.
As most of us know in the Warped Tour family, there's a barbecue after the show, and it's just for musicians that maybe didn't get a chance to go to catering, so they can have a hot dog or a veggie dog or something at the end. And I started kind of noticing, everybody on Warped Tour, they hang out, and the fans might not realize that. You know what I mean? Like August Burns Red might be best friends with Anti-Flag, and Killswitch Engage might be best friends with Lights. You never know who is just happening to enjoy each other's, company. And, because fans might think that only the genres hang out, but it's pretty much almost the opposite. And so the videos were a good way to show people that we all hang out. You know what I mean? We're all together. We're all playing music, and we're all having, what they say about those videos is just like, good, clean fun.
Big D's still working, Tony. Like, they're still out there working.
Are they touring?
They're getting ready to tour. I don't know. They're doing some weekends because he's also a college professor and teaches and does all these other things and now has a new baby. But, they have a new album that came out on Side One Dummy Records, Do Your Art.
The whole concept of the album was, all of us in the artistic world, I've seen over years just different really outstanding guitar players, illustrators, singers, and painters, like for the last 25 years. Eventually, some of them just give up and they just say, all right, I thought I was going to do this thing. And they start looking at their talent as like this shameful thing, and they put it away. And I'm just trying to let everybody know to not do that. It's like your mutant X-Men power. And even though you might not be as popular as Batman and Superman, like the world needs you. Like you don't have to be the top person in your art field to continue your art and be appreciated. The wonderful, amazing gift that they have, don't give it up.
Dave has always had a good heart. And I asked him what do you do? Do you anything for charity? And one of the things he does is he auctions off his shirt from every show.
I had these spray paint shirts that I just wear live, and I was kind of just folding them and putting them somewhere. And my wife was like, "We should do a plethora of different, nonprofits and sell your shirt, auction your shirts off." And we did, and it was I would have to go back to the list because of COVID. It was about a year ago, and so, but we did a great job, and with her, we raised about $6,000 for different organizations. One
thing you'll find that bands that are, they're just getting by themselves sometimes, but the people I tend to surround myself are always going to try to give back and do whatever they can.
And, that's prevalent throughout the culture of Warped Tour from the beginning until the very end of it. And a lot of that was spawned on by some of the things you inspired them to do, give back days and cleanup days and all that. But it's good to see that the bands that beyond tour, the Warped Tour, are continuing that tradition. It's
and
great.
I know you don't do videos or anything, Tony, but next time Big D comes through town, we can do a little bitch video in our backyard, okay? I'm sure Dave will come over with the band, we'll invite some friends, and you could have your own little bitch
video.
Can
I wear my Golden God outfit?
Yeah, I'd expect you to wear nothing less. So Carlo Rabo appeared in multiple bands throughout the years on Warped Tour, but in one particular year developed a special trait to be able to sell some extra CDs.
Absolutely. A lot of them were happy to get entertained. Some were just happy to talk to some cute guys, and I was not afraid to approach the girls because I'm gay and I have an accent, so I was always outselling everybody else. I sold, I think, up to 50 CDs in one day for $5 each.
Wow.
So that was my talent. I couldn't drive the van for shit. So everybody else was driving except for me because everybody thought they were going to die if I drove. And so we had a good kind of job sharing situation going.
But how did he get on the tour? Do you know? I mean, where is he from?
I'm sure he was, made his way on through Shira. Shira brought him on the Shira stage.
The time I played was in 2014 with a band called Wazi. It's an all-queer band out of LA, and we got to play the Shira Girl stage through Conquer Entertainment.
It was great to catch up with Jenny Cottrell. She's fantastic. She's was always a lot of fun. And we were sitting there and we were talking about what she did in music. We were more catching up on being a band on Warped Tour. But all of a sudden she was telling me about how her passion for baking has turned into this business.
Jenny was on tour for a long time. I'm assuming she bakes cakes. Did she have like a booth, or what did she do on the Warped Tour?
Jenny was in a band. She was in multiple bands, but now her latest band that she's in is Bad Cop, Bad Cop.
Okay, cool.
And they've been out playing a lot of shows recently. Actually, quite a few shows. They're a band that's been on a lot of festivals. I think they actually played at Punk in the Park just this past couple weeks, this past week. But I was asking her more, we talk about bands and they can tell us their story about the road or anything. But really what kind of enthralled me about what Jenny was doing was she has a business called Jenny Bakes Things.
Oh, and the producer is showing us her Instagram right now. Oh my God, look at the cakes that she makes.
Yeah,
those are
there's
awesome.
A Hulk Hogan cake there.
What is her name of her? Jenny what?
Bakes Things.
Jenny Bakes Things. Go check this on Instagram. You can see the kind of cake she does.
Yeah,
It's
she does
awesome.
great cakes. She's done a great one about Green Day. Every couple days she's posting. There's Pikachu. You give her a theme and she can come up with a one-of-a-kind cake.
Oh, cool.
So I asked her about, how that came together for her.
I am baking cakes for a living these days, which has been really fun. I enjoy it a lot. And, it's been going really well. I was pleasantly surprised for that.
We were discussing about how creative people or people with creative instincts could diversify. And that could be in businesses, that could be in creating other art. And it was really interesting how it came back that she took her passion for baking into this project.
I never imagined all these things intersecting so many different times, but they do over and over again. And I think one thing that you kind of mentioned about people, they do this, but they also make art. And I feel like it's kind of like everybody's a little bit of a Billy Childish. Like if you're going to be doing one thing, there's probably another door open for you. Like you are a Renaissance man. You are not just the father of Warped Tour. You're teaching at USC.
Hey, Tony, I got a joke. What makes a professor? I finally figured it out.
What makes a professor?
You're really, really good at one thing, but can't function in society doing anything else.
Yeah, truly.
What? Yeah, that's a professor. You might be the person that knows the most about a volcano or the most about a newt or something.
Well, that old adage that is kind of insulting, and I think it's totally not the case with you, is that those that can't do teach, right? And that's a horrible thing to say.
I think they could do one thing so good. Like I watch all the other professors. Brilliant. But man, tell them to tie a shoe or fill out a form online to get on campus. It goes downhill.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin has lost his tenure at USC because all the faculty
I'll never be
is
tenured.
listed.
But I'll never be tenured. No, but I'm saying that's what's so good about professors. You're putting people in a room.
This television show better take off. I'll tell you that, pal.
You're putting people in a room that are the best at what they do. And that's what they're passing on that knowledge to the next generation because they've learned everything they could possibly learn. So they're building the foundation for the next generation. They could be taught that and then find the next level.
Well, I really think that is certainly unique in the School of Music at USC. Those people are all brilliant people.
Well, we've been seeing it because they have to rehearse outside. Everyone has to play outside now. We have tents all over campus. And at the beginning of the semester, people were good. They come in with talent. Mm-hmm. But to watch them refine into these, ensembles, and there's a Latin band that's playing Cuban music outside of one of my classes on my way in.
Right.
So I sit there every week for about 30 minutes and listen to them before I go into class. Blow you away. Amazing. But watching them, how they've progressed we're only 12 weeks in a semester. Semester's over in about 3 weeks. And to see where these professors can take these people, they bring them as a group and turn them into a unit of people. It's funny because now, people that live in the neighborhoods ride their bikes over and sit outside the fence at USC because they can't come onto campus, of course, and because of COVID and Trojan. But there's a fence right there, and everyone is sitting out there on their bikes or on their way home from work, stop and sit there. They're so good.
Oh, that's great.
So it's been an interesting, semester. It's been an interesting time to be an educator because we are having such a time and moment where people are going through a lot. Right? We're coming out of this. When I said in earlier episodes, people were coming in and very spread out. Now I think they've almost hit a level of almost a weird melancholy. Projects are due. Everyone backloaded their semesters. People are really struggling. There's a lot of students that's struggling, and it's a time to give everyone a little leeway.
I don't think that's just students, in the collegiate level too. I mean, kids they're all just coming back in, man. It's hard. They're
there was an article that came out last night. A lot of school districts are shutting down. A lot of school districts are closing up. They don't have enough teachers. Yesterday was Veterans Day.
Right.
So many teachers took today off in school districts that some school districts shut down and just gave it to the kids.
It's a national holiday for public
No,
school.
yesterday was a
Yeah.
holiday.
Oh, you're talking about Friday.
Friday.
They just it's so funny that you say that, because this morning my wife said, God, I wish they gave us the next day
a lot of
schools
schools were forced to. They couldn't get enough teachers to teach today.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And we're so far down on substitute teachers. There's not a pool that they used to have.
Really?
Some school districts used to have 300. Now they have 100. They needed to fill 229 classrooms in one school district. There was a school district in Florida that is shutting down after Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
They're now just they're gonna say, okay, we've had a semester.
But is that happening? That is not happening in the paid collegiate level, is it?
No, I mean, paid collegiate level, trust me, everyone's a little burned out. And you live with Tasha.
Well, I know how stressful it is for her to go to work every day, wondering if she's going to bring COVID home. She got her booster, our son every day. I mean, there's a lot of, especially as the waning months leading up to the colder months and people getting indoors. I mean, look at that's happening in Denver right now, all over Europe. Germany is just getting whomped. And I'm thinking it's a lot of it in California isn't happening because we have a warmer climate. I wonder, it's 95 degrees today, for crying out loud.
Well, it is weird, but seeing that, in the system and then, at a school I'm at that's going through this crisis, and there's some issues going on at USC in the fraternity system that are being addressed right now. So our charity of the week is the California Coalition Against Sexual Assault. It's very interesting to see how the faculty and staff of USC are standing strong with the students and saying that enough is enough. Now, I say we'll always have fraternity. There's multiple reasons why they won't go away. But it's very important that we address this. So California Coalition Against Sexual Assault, they're there to, strengthen the laws and strengthen the rights. A lot of rights were taken away by Betsy DuVois, who was our last person of public education on Title IX. She weakened those rules. Yeah. So I thought we'd just touch on that. And, it's just a time where, I think we're all looking forward to the holidays. Yeah. But where I said, an upside of COVID was last year that we didn't have Thanksgiving gatherings because we would have had a lot of deaths by butter knives over politics.
Sure.
Now we're going to have deaths by knives over vaccines. It's already happening. I see everyone I talk to has got like a cousin Karen.
Yep. Everybody's got one.
And I actually have a cousin Karen that we're dealing with right now.
We'll make you a plate. We'll hand it out through the window, and you can just sit outside with a mask. Do we got a band of the week?
I've got one. I'm gonna promote a band from USC who just had her album come out. She's on the label at USC. Her name is Megan Windsor. She performed at an event that I helped produce with my students last Wednesday. She's great. Got some great songs. She's written some great songs. Really was a nice event we put on campus, an alumni event where 25 alumni came back and she performed for our students. Thank you to everyone listening. We appreciate all the comments and texts you've been sending us. If you have any merch, send us a picture. Some of the old merch. Yeah, send us some of your old merch pictures.
And make sure you subscribe to our Spotify, Apple, and YouTube pages. When new episodes are released, they'll notify. It's great.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook to stay in the loop.
If you want to hear more from us, subscribe to our Patreon to hear more exclusive content and get discounts on our merch. A subscription to My Warped Life might make a great gift for a friend. It's only $5.
Yeah, and please text us at 818-863-6445. That's 818-863-6445. Give us suggestions for future episodes.
And don't forget, you can check out all the episodes on Metal Fortress online radio station, airing every Friday at 7 p.m.
And I really want to give a special shout out to Metal Fortress, who has been supporting us and supporting everything I've ever done for many, many years. They're great people. We would like to thank Xavier Busy Bradley.
Yeah, Xavier. I swear I'm not going to be late, Busy Bradley.
That's going to be his name now, Busy Bradley. It's funny, I had to put him on Find My Friends. Like, he's the only one like I could check up on to like see like how late he's going to be. So, and then of
all
course
he does sit here is track you all day. You know, he just sits back here and tracks you.
So then, and then of course we want to thank Vivian Donahue. That's starting to ring. Vivian Donahue is starting to ring. That name is starting to ring. Beata.
Yay, Beata.
God, another one missing in action. Shem Tov today.
And for the original music of My Warped Live,
Diego Aradia.
Diego Aratia. Sing it away, kid.